Let's talk about AI. And if you think about your current system, are you able to capitalize on the investments that Microsoft's making in AI and Copilot? They are spending millions and millions of dollars in the AI space. And in Business Central, they are spending a lot of money and effort building in Copilot into Business Central. And they talk about, Microsoft, we talk about AI as being kind of, think about it as this companion or assistant, right? I find myself now every day using components of Copilot, whether it's in Outlook or Teams or PowerPoint or Excel. I always think of it as this assistant with me. And Microsoft is continually expanding the different scenarios that you can use Copilot for in Business Central. A lot of their investment in the year 2025 is to continue to expand on different scenarios of how Copilot can help you in your business. If we think about small businesses, there's a lot to do and not always a lot of people to do that, right? So you need to think about how to do the most with the limited resources that you have, and how can AI help automate those pieces to make things easier, to take some of the manual, menial tasks off of people, right? To make them more efficient so they can focus on higher value tasks within your organization. That's where really Copilot can be very powerful. What we're also finding out with Copilot too is it really can help in that transition. Change management is obviously a big thing for clients, right? As they're looking at moving from to a new ERP. There's a lot to learn with that. And Copilot can really help in that change management. And I tell people, think about Copilot as being your assistant, right? Somebody that's there with you every step of the way as you're learning Business Central. So I want to show you some of the scenarios where we find Copilot being very helpful for our customers. Back into Business Central, you'll notice there is up at the top, there's a Copilot icon. So Copilot is part of Business Central. It's not a separate license that you need to do. It's built in right within Business Central. So one of the first scenarios I want to talk to you about is just think about it as if you're a GP person, if you think of help about, right? When I was learning GP, I used the help about functionality a lot to understand things. Well, I think of Copilot as kind of help about, but on steroids, right? If you're bringing in somebody new into your organization, or as you guys are transitioning over to Business Central, right? You'll go through training with, your partner and understanding it, but you don't always remember everything you learned in training. Or if you need to cover somebody because they're out of the office and you may need to do something that you don't normally do, where do you start and how do they learn to do that? Well, you can ask Copilot that sort of thing, right? How do I do something? So let's say, you've got somebody and they need to issue a customer refund, but they've never done it before, or they learned it in training, but they forgot it because it's not something that you do all that often. Well, you can come in and ask Business Central, well, how do I issue a customer refund? So I'm just going to ask it. So you type in your question, and then it's going to go in there, and you're going to see within a few seconds, it's going to come back with instructions letting me know that this is how you can do something. And the great thing is sometimes there may not be one way to do something. Maybe there's a couple ways to do something, right? You can see how quickly it came back and said, this is how you can issue a customer refund. So it's giving me step-by-step instructions on how to do that. And then it also will reference at the bottom. So now it's referencing documentation too. So if I want to learn more about something, or I want to bookmark documentation, it's brought that. So within a matter of seconds, right, it's like I have my assistant with me. I can ask it questions. Tell me how to do this. So it's great because you can ask it how to, but you can also ask it things about your data, which is really powerful, right? You can ask it questions about your data. So let's say you're on the phone with a customer, or a salesperson called you, right? Somebody who's newer to Business Central, maybe a salesperson who's not in here very much, but they need to answer a question, right? They have a customer call and they need to answer a question. And you can ask it something about your data. So I'm going to ask it if I have a certain particular item in stock. So I'm just asking it about an item. We sell certain chairs, right? And I want the system to say, do we have any of these in stock, right? Or are they back ordered, right? What can I promise to my customer while I'm talking to them? So it's going to go look through that information. And there's a lot of different questions that you can ask it. And it says, yep, that we actually do have one in stock, right? So now it's found that there is one of these in stock, which is great. And then you can see it's linking me out if I want to go into the item card to view more information about that. It brought that back. I always tell people who are new to Copilot, if you're not sure where to start, there are prompts that can guide you. This is where it can start telling you if you're not sure where to start with Copilot, right? It will give you examples of things that you can ask Copilot, right? You can tell it, look up a certain, invoice number, right? Or if you want to remember what discount did we offer a customer on this, right? This is where you can get into some very specific questions. So a lot of power available in Copilot.